high level overview is that Brian and I have been talking a lot, and I give credit to Dr. Justine, who kind of initiated some of this conversation too, through over the last few months, is that we just feel like our whole mission, our whole goal is we want to grow. Like we want to make an impact in chiropractic in Canada. And especially in the model that we practice in a vitalistic model, the subluxation based model, five essential delivery. So we want to help chiropractors grow and we want more people to come into the network because I think we have something truly valuable for in a couple of ways for the general public, the general population. If people generally knew what we knew about how to take care of ourselves through five essential living, the country, the world would be a better place, number one. But number two, from a chiropractor's perspective, is if they set their practice up to deliver chiropractic in the way that we deliver it, I know that they would be incredibly wealthy and successful and fulfilled and be able to see a lot more people and have a lot more fun in practice. So that this was our whole goal. So we started saying, okay, well, what is it that we're truly trying to create here? And we've had a lot of feedback from different people. A couple of people have left the group for various reasons. So we decided, okay, why don't we try to lower the bar here and make it accessible for everybody to be involved and not think, is this an expense? Like, am I getting value out of being part of the group? And open the door for more people to come in. Okay. So what I'd like to do is kind of give you the high level overview of what we've come up with so far, which we plan on actually starting. So everybody that's under agreement right now will migrate into the appropriate agreements based on what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to share my screen, and Brian, I see Justine's here now, so that's awesome. Please jump in to just kind of help share your thoughts on the whole background of why we put this all together. Okay. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see this. So this is a spreadsheet that I created based on the feedback that Brian and Justine have both provided and everybody else has provided as well. So right now in DC2, we migrated everybody from their ML memberships into DC2 when we broke away from ML for all the various reasons. But nonetheless, so we just kind of transferred everything over. And our new clients, we have that package of coming in as a partner, which, new partners have come in, Shaylin and obviously Ummer came in and there was Dr. Christine's
Vegan.
come in, Keegan. Yeah. So they all came in at the new level, paying $12.97 a month plus HST. So, and I know that's a few bucks. I feel like obviously we're giving tremendous value, plus the association with Max Living, the ability to go to seminars and all that stuff. So we decided, well, and now we decided we want to focus specifically on what's happening in Canada. Obviously, the option is there to still be associated with Max Living, but I don't feel like the majority of our group are taking advantage of that as much as the value that's within the coaching offerings, if that makes sense. So we decided to reevaluate this. So what we've done is we've created different groups. So we have our partner group, which is basically we're going to call it our mastery or partner group. The affiliate group, which I don't like the affiliate term, but we're going to call that the accelerator package or the accelerator group. So essentially, everybody that's in a partner group now will migrate into this mastery or partner group. Everybody that was an affiliate, which of course we didn't offer after Max Living, that was a Max Living thing, but everybody that was in that affiliate group migrates into this accelerator group. And obviously, moving forward, the ability to change groups, whether you upgrade to a different group or you want to downgrade to a different group, there's different levels of accessibility. Okay. So we decided we want to create a community. That's the first thing. The basis is creating a community where we can share ideas, be part of a group, have general discussion where chiropractors who are even not in our coaching group can be part of the community and be able to communicate with other chiropractors, like-minded chiropractors. So we have now created a school group. Okay, so that is in the process of being created. It's done. It's set up, and we're going to send invites to everybody to that school group. That's completely free. Everybody can be, as long as you're in the chiropractic profession, you can be a member. You have to apply to be a member, but you have to be accepted. And as long as you're in the chiropractic profession, it's not for the general public. You can be part of that school group. So it's DCs, associates, independent contractors, locum doctors, CAs are part of it too. Chiropractic spouses, if you're a family member of a chiropractor, and it's going to be specifically chiropractic. So we're going to share chiropractic ideas, practice building tips, philosophy, all kinds of stuff and general discussion in that school group. Okay. Well, actually, I can show you here because I have it open on my browser. If I can just move my cameras. Oh, I had it open, I closed it. I won't waste the time to show you now. But anyway, so you'll get an invite to the school group. But if you go in the app, so I would suggest everybody who's watching this and listening to this, download the app School on your phone or on your desktop, laptop, whatever. And the group is called Scale Your Practice. Okay, so look at Scale Your Practice. You can apply for membership right there on School and request to be a member, and you'd have to be accepted, obviously. But for those of you who are on this line watching this call, you're going to get an invite to your email. Okay, and that'll happen in the next few days. Okay, so, and that's being built out. In the meantime, I've actually started a podcast. So I'm going to be interviewing people. I've done a couple of interviews. Obviously, Mark Losby that you saw the other day was one of them. Dr. Neil Cohen was one of them. I shared that in the group. So, and I'm already in the process of talking to other potential guests and going to start asking people who are doing something in the chiropractic profession to be guests on the podcast. Okay, so that's our school group. We're also going to be approaching students. So obviously with Dr. Justine's daughter, my son Austin, there's a lot of contacts still with young doctors and students. So we're going to be inviting them to be part of the school group. And this is going to be across Canada, United States. It's going to be international. It's not just a Canadian thing. Okay. So students in the first column here, free to join, part of the school group. They get to be part of the community chat, to listen and observe and contribute as well. They also have the opportunity to go and observe. Dr. Brian and Dr. Justine have said they'd be willing to have students or young docs or partners and accelerator docs go and spend an afternoon, spend a day, whatever the case is. I know Justine would offer for you to stay at her house and spend a week there if you want to, but maybe I'm speaking for Justine, but I know she would. And observe their practice, which I think is a very valuable tool. So students can do that, docs can do that. DC seminar attendance, students are going to be allowed to come for free. They're just going to have to pay for the lunch. That's it. Okay. They're going to be allowed to be part of the DC2 knowledge base, which includes all of the training materials. So day 1, day 2, day 3, re-exam stuff, anything that we upload there for practice documents, they're going to have accessibility to. DC2, let's see here, DC2, the C4 call. So students will be invited to come on the C4 call. They just won't have access to the mastermind calls or what we're going to call is the practical call, which is what we currently call the spinal correction mastery call, is going to be changed to the practical call, and I'll explain why. What's going to happen, and students are only going to have access to this one call. So the practical call is going to be divided up into a few groups. So it won't just be on spinal correction. Part of it will be on spinal correction. Part of it will be as far as what we're going to do to train tech CAs. So we're going to invite you to bring your tech CA on these, and it's going to be any patient-facing training that we can do on this call. So what would be the role of a tech CA in a new patient exam? Or what would be the role of a tech CA in a re-exam? You know, different things and different procedures, scripts, and so on that they would do in those situations, okay? The other thing that we're going to do, and the practical call obviously can be part of spinal correction. We'll do some spinal correction too. And we're going to divide it up on a monthly basis. So it'll kind of rotate. So we'll do like a spinal correction or practical call. We'll do like a tech CA or CA type call. We'll do a women's call. That's going to be another thing that Dr. Justine said that she would lead. So these are going to be on the third Thursdays of the month in place of this spinal correction mastery call that we currently do now, okay? And students will be invited to the women's call. Students will also have access to just the motivational content that we're going to be doing in the group. Dr. Justine's going to be contributing. Dr. Brian's going to be contributing. I'm going to be contributing very regularly, okay? So that's the first level. We're going to give and this is not something we've not offered before, a very low level of entry for chiropractors who want to dip their toe in the pool. And this is going to be called the momentum level. It's going to be priced at $199 a month. right? I've got a question mark here because we were kind of questioning the price, but it's going to be priced at $199 a month. And it's going to give them just basically entry into the member. They're going to be part of the group. They're going to be able to come to seminars. They'll still have to pay the guest fee, bring their staff to seminars. They get access to the DC2 knowledge base. So all of the scripts and exam procedures and re-exam procedures, all that stuff, they're going to be able to come on the C4 call. They're going to be welcome to the women's call. So basically everything that a student gets, a new doc would get for $200 a month. Okay. All the motivational content, all that. So that's a kind of an entry level fee into our group. The accelerator, like I said, which is consistent with the current affiliate category, which some of you, have been in because you were former members of ML. Like I said, that's not something that we offered, but that's going to be priced at $299. Currently, I know the people that were in that were paying around $500 a month. So it's going to be at a lower price point. So if you're wanting to stay in that group, your price is going to go down by $200 a month from the I think it was $497 or $499 down to the $299. Okay. So you're going to get everything that I just talked about, plus you're going to have the opportunity to go observe Dr. Brian, Dr. Justine if you want to. It includes the seminars. It includes all the knowledge base. It includes the mastermind, all the group calls. So now you're going to have access to all the group calls, obviously, like you would do now, similar to what everybody gets now, without the coaching aspect. Okay, so you're not going to have obviously the coaching calls, and we're going to raise up our coaching availability for the coaching group as well. So I'll explain that in just a second. So essentially, everything that the affiliate program gets now is going to be consistent with the accelerator group at a lesser fee. The next group is all the partners. So anybody who's in the partner group, again, everything stays consistent to what you do now. We've changed it a little bit, and I'll go through some of the details. For the partners that are paying what they're currently paying now, it'll drop down to $749 per month. Okay. And so you get everything that obviously the affiliates do, but the difference is that obviously, you'll have access to all the doctor's report material that Brian has done, all of the updates that we're going to do. Like I said, I'm going to make webinars and PowerPoint presentations available to our partner group as well. So if you want to use those for patient education stuff, that's all going to be available. Copies of all the care plans, you'll have those. We're going to, Brian and myself and Dr. Justine are going to do evaluations of doctors' reports or day 1, day 2, day 3. So if you want to record some of your procedures and send them to us for some, constructive criticism or some guidelines on how you should do things maybe in a little different way, that'll be an option for you as well. And again, that's only in the partner group. Like I said, all the webinar templates, advanced talks, all that stuff. And then we're going to continue our one-on-one coaching calls. The schedule is going to change because initially for a new partner, we did weekly calls for the first 12 weeks and then monthly. We just felt that monthly calls were not enough to keep people engaged. So we've changed it. It's not going to be front end loaded. It's going to be bi-weekly calls throughout the year. So in the past, there were 12 weeks of weekly calls and then 40 weeks of, 12 weeks of weekly calls plus the next 9 calls would have been, so it'd be 21 calls total, would have been monthly calls. So that was 21 calls. Now it's going to go to 26 calls because it's bi-weekly through the year. Okay. And we're also, one thing that we said that we're going to do is we're going to really start paying attention to stats and hold you guys accountable on your stats. So I've actually created a spreadsheet that everybody's going to have access to. It's a Google document, online document, and you can delegate a staff member, do it yourself, whatever. It's just some simple stats to keep yourself accountable for your own growth, collections, and so on. And all it is just a growth chart. So it's not like a financial statement or anything like that. It's just basically monitoring your practice performance. Okay. simple stuff. And we're gonna actively take a look at that. So everybody who's coaching with myself or everybody's coaching with Brian, we're gonna actively take a look at that on our regular coaching calls, at least on a monthly basis, if not more, to make sure that your practice is performing the way you want it to perform. Okay. So what the exclusions are now, because we've lowered our price, is that so for instance, a team training. So we're doing, so for example, Christine and her team and myself have gotten on Zoom calls the last few weeks. So that will not be included in our coaching package. That will be an extra fee starting after January. Okay. So for those groups that want to do that, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm sure Christine would say, I believe those are extremely valuable. Like for myself or for Brian or and Justine hasn't necessarily committed to that yet, but for myself and Brian to be able to get on a Zoom call with you and your team and lead a training can be a totally different perspective on things, and we're happy to do that. So for those of you who want to do that, we can certainly talk about that. Canadian camps, I would love to re-engage those. So that has been on the back burner. Nothing is set in stone yet. Dr. Max Living attendance, we have arranged our guest fees. So that would be an extra cost to attend Max Living seminars. Okay. Let's see here. And then I have talked to Nichelle about a discount of home care purchases, and she says she's willing to do that, provide that for the partners. So partners will be granted a small discount on Max Living product purchases. Okay. And we haven't finalized the exact amount, but it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of 5%. So it's going to save a few bucks. And if you're doing a high volume of home care stuff, that's going to obviously add up. Okay. All right. So, Brian, Justine, please, if I've forgotten anything or if I've misspoken on anything, please go ahead and correct me on that.
No, the only thing I'd love for Justine to share with the group too, the big thing is for some of you who are like in the partner, they'll be the partner slash mastery right now. Nothing much really changes for you. You were really utilizing, if you were utilizing the entire part of the program, getting to the MLXs, doing all that, makes sense. It'll still be a bit cheaper doing it this way, as far as your out-of-pocket expense, because we're going to reduce it down to $750, and then you have a small seminar fee. What we found, there's a lot of people who have joined DC2, just like they were new to DC2, they weren't used to going to seminars, like the traveling to Orlando, like that just wasn't something that they had used or gotten committed to. So it was hard to, they weren't seeing the value. So we're trying to figure out how to split it up, make it more a la carte, but also give people a lot of different options. So it's more like we try and do for Patients Our Office, like meet people where they're at, right? Allow them to get moving in the right direction, build momentum, and you can always add on and things get better, or if you're slowing down practice, slow down, but trying to give those options for people.
I also thought that there's sometimes, you can only make one big seminar in a year just due to cost, or the seminar date is when you already planned a family vacation. So you wanted, that way you're paying for one big MLX. Also found that as I was interviewing different doctors, they wanted more variety of different speakers, some things just specifically for women's issues or even just family issues and family balance. So to have a specific time dedicated towards family and women's issues. Also found that, as we were trying to tell our colleagues about the program and getting more people to be a part of the team, the fee was discouraging, especially if they're at the very beginning. If they're seeing under 100 a week, which is 80 to 90% of our population, if you go by the OCA stats, the cost was prohibitive when they're at the beginning, but to help them grow along the way so that they can go through the different tiers. So it'd be more inclusive to people who are seeing less volume and to not be solely volume based. There are some wonderful, amazing wellness subluxation based chiropractors who only want to work 2 shifts a week because they're focused on family, whether they're male or female. They just, or there may be slowly retiring, or they have other family commitments with their parents. So this would allow it to be more inclusive for a diverse group of chiropractors. This is an opportunity to tell other friends, and not be so nervous about them having a concern with the cost if the cost is lower. And when you look at these costs, you're really looking at one prepay patient, right? One prepay patient, or two prepay patients, just if you're, depending on your fees, that's affordable. Like if you think of all the patients that you have in a year, that's what your cost is now at to be a part of the group. It makes it easier to share with friends and family, and the goal is more people connecting. This is, sometimes we feel like we're on an island, we're lonely, we're dealing with all the challenges on our own, and just to feel that you're together, you're committed as a bigger group for a big cause. We need more people on the mission. So part of these changes is, yes, it's good for everybody on the group. Everybody can find a level that would work for them, but it's also about you connecting with your friends, your families, your other chiropractors in the area. Get them on some more of these C4 calls. Get your chiropractor down the street an opportunity, like Colin said, to dip their toe in the water. And even if they're acute care based, they're not yet wellness care based. Many of us started that way. Brian and I we came from CMCC, where we had IFC and, the Thumper, and we didn't know what we know now today. And we want to reach those people. We want to reach everybody. And I think this tiered approach that Brian and Colin, we've been working hard to get, allows us to reach those, give them a hand up out of the water, get started without the fear of cost.
Thank you. And I'm going to say not only that, there's been people in our group who have been around for a long time, so and I know perhaps they're not even on this call right now, but Danny, Lauren, Shaylin's been with us for the last year, who are now leaving the group, whom I would love at this point for you to have the opportunity now. Chantel is another one, to say, hey, this makes it a lot easier for me to stay. And listen, there's big goals here. Obviously the big goal is to promote chiropractic here in Canada, especially in the model that we have, to help chiropractors who are graduated in this therapeutic pain-based model to think differently. And I think there's no better group than us to be able to provide that. But also too, I have a huge goal of planting another school here in Canada. And as I said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think this is a good stepping stone in that direction. If we can build this community huge and see this school group build huge, it just brings leverage. It just brings awareness, and it brings leverage. And I think that's really what it's going to take to get things moving, to get the snowball going. You don't build a snowman unless you start with a small little snowball. So we got to get this going. So I hope that resonates with you. I hope that you find this is good news. I know we're very excited about it. I do feel like we're providing more services for less money at this point, but we want to, because we truly value you guys, and we truly value chiropractic, and we value the relationship that we've created, and want to maintain and sustain that.
And I'm going to add one of the things that I said that I would contribute to the DC group, and people found that they wanted more internal marketing, because those internal patients are what make a difference. And I think I'm, like, with trying to be modest, I'm pretty good at it, averaging 50 new patients for years now in internal marketing. So, but it's hard to remember what to do. So what I said I would do is that every month, kind of do one of those Marco Polos of what's coming up next. How do you prepare? Like a reminder to you of, 10 things you can do this month, and for your internal referrals, for your energy and your culture in your office. And you pick 1, 2, or all 10, whatever you're able to do, but to build that culture in your office for the internal referrals. That's one of the areas that I thought would be great for all of us. And also adding more talks to the group, where you'll have more slides presented, and you can create more of the online presence with a YouTube talk. And maybe you only start with doing your Max Living talks, and then one more a month, or one more every other month, but you haven't got to do the work of creating the content at the beginning and just getting that more and more patients engaged in your culture. So these are things we didn't have before that we're trying to add to the program, and just add more reminders for everybody to excel in that internal culture for your patients to build more internal referrals.
And I'll just say that the one big thing I heard there, Justine, just that engage piece where we want to be engaging our patients. I'm also going to say just you guys as doctors and leaders in your clinics, this is a time like we're coming up on the holidays, take a little reset and a break, but you want to be going to 2025 engaged. You want to be thinking about engaging other doctors in your towns. With a lot of the work I do now as chairman for Max Living as well, like talking with so many people, not just Max Living docs, but people in other aspects of natural health through the US. Like there is a real tipping point coming in January as Robert Kennedy takes a post. Like there's so much more as we have a person, not only of credibility, but in a position of influence seen by millions and millions of people that will be talking our message as well. And you don't want to miss the bus. You want to be in a spot ready to take action, ready to go. So be walking into 2025 with a engaged for yourself, for your team. I'd encourage you like a lot of why you'll see bigger people in our group have grown is we've done it with friends, right? We've done it with our colleagues. It makes it a lot easier to go out and do something new and bounce ideas off and stuff like that. That's where the growth comes from. So encourage people around you, whatever it is, got to find a way to get engaged hitting 2025.
So I'm going to share the link to this school group in our DC2 text chat. So feel free to click on the link, apply for membership, input your name and your email address, and obviously, you'll get accepted into the group. And then for anybody who doesn't do that, I will send a personal invite to the group to you. So you'll all have that, in the next few days. If anybody has any specific questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Brian, or if you want to talk to Dr. Justine, I'm sure she would set up a time to talk to you as well, just to answer any personal questions. And again, for anybody who is already registered for ML in January, nothing changes for that ML. Like it's not like, oh, we're changing this and now you have to pay your extra fee for that ML. So that is not included in the next group. So I know Christine and her team are already registered for that. So nothing changes there. The fees, the new levels will start in January. Okay.
Oh, Steven just threw something in the chat there.
Oh,
5%
sorry, I
on
missed
home
it.
care for mastery clients.
5%. Okay, thank you.
And
Thanks
as
for
far as
clarifying.
US camp, Steve, like because you're a partner and you've been there forever, your fee stays the same. There is some slight fee structure changing coming to Max Living, but you would still get that discount as if you were a partner in the US as well, even though it's not offered anymore, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And one thing, just to clarify too, and I realized I didn't talk about this, is that the associate agreements do not change. They're exactly the same as what they were. The associates still pay $300 a month, or in some cases, the lead doctors are paying for those associates. So whatever agreement that you're under, nothing changes there, and your accessibility is all exactly the same as what it was. So I think that was a sweet deal for all the associates anyway. So we've kept that as it was. Okay. But, and as far as the associates go, the lead doc in the office has to be a mastery or partner member for the associate to have that associate's agreement. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense.
I'm going to add, Stephen and I were just at the Max Living camp this past weekend, and just highly recommend it for life transformation as you make those life changes. Your practice changes. So to be transparent or authentic, I was definitely, as a mom, struggling being an empty nester. I just really, really missed my kids. And it was affecting my practice. Yes, our office is still seeing what you guys call high volume, but I wasn't myself. I was able to kind of go through the motions, put a big smile on, but I really, really did miss my kids. And it was affecting me in so many areas in the office, but even just at home with my husband, trying to find my new way of life. And to go through the camp and to be able to shed some tears and shed some husk and just kind of, you know, be proud of my kids and go the next level. I came back, uh, felt 20 pounds lighter, uh, and came back to 15 new patients in the books on Monday, and over 25 this week. So those camps, those max living events, they make a big difference. Encourage you to go to the camps and encourage you to be part of more of the max living calls, the max living MLX. The more we engage, the better results we get. And so the new calls will be, as Sam is letting us know, and Brian will be a part of. They'll be on Zoom coming up in the new year. For those who don't know, that's a change coming in January. But the more you plug in with those calls for philosophy and for our processes that you will be learn, and you only get that when on the different tiers. That makes a wicked difference to your life, not just your practice. And I'm sure Stephen could share his own, you know, stories as he becomes an amazing leader of two practices, and the changes he's made since joining Max Living. But it is a process; it's not an overnight, and that's why we're trying to get people in the door.
Yeah,
I think I'll end with this. Merry Christmas, everybody. Like, we're so proud of being part of a great group of people. Really, really proud to be friends with everybody here.
I would definitely echo Justine's sentiment about going to camp. You know, the Canadian camps made such a huge difference. That was my first exposure to camps, and the American camp, I went to 2 of them so far, and they were both, yeah, they're every time we go to a camp, it doesn't matter whether it's US or Canada, it's transformational. You know, if you know, as Justine said, I have 2 practices now, and so it's, you know, it requires a different level of leadership, and that requires anytime you make change to, you know, make the internal change first. And so camp is a great place for that. I totally echo all the Facebook calls. I'm on all the ML Facebook calls. Yeah, that's what grows you. It keeps you, you know, so to speak, showered every day, right? You know, if you're participating constantly, you're constantly getting refreshed. And yeah, be part of that, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
And it just can make a difference to which tier you want, if you want to be a part of some of those calls. And they're amazing. There are so many amazing leaders in Max Living that you can tap into. And I am sincere. I know Brian is. You are welcome to stay at my home. You are welcome to come watch our practice. Anything that I have, I'm happy to share.
This is awesome. You know, and the big picture here is that you just want to surround yourself with people whom you'd like to emulate, who you want to become. And that's the only way it happens. You know, you can't soar with the eagles when you're hanging out with turkeys. All right, gang.
I think that's a mic drop right there.
On that note. Yes. All right. Love you guys. Have an
Merry
awesome
Christmas
day.
to all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. So listen, no call next week. Have a great holiday with your family. Merry Christmas. And we will start again first week of January with our C4 call. All the best.